Welcome to our virtual tour of the Edmonton River Valley. Today we'll be touring the area around Louise McKinney Park, moving to the Legislature, and finishing off around the High Level Bridge. Edmonton's River Valley Park System is world-renowned for its size and beauty at over 18,000 acres. The River Valley has been an important corridor for both wildlife and humans since the last ice age. The North Saskatchewan River starts in Banff National Park, flows through Edmonton, into Saskatchewan and Manitoba, through Lake Winnipeg, and out to Hudson Bay. The Edmonton River Valley has been an important gathering place for Indigenous peoples for thousands of years. The Blackfoot, Cree, Dene, Nakota, Saukri, and Métis people have all at some point visited or called this area home. The first European fur traders came to the region in 1795 and founded the original forts Augustus and Edmonton near modern-day Fort Saskatchewan. The fur trade boomed, and in 1813 the fort was moved to Rosedale Flats. Flooding in 1830 forced the fort to be moved to higher ground at what is today the Legislature. Back to Louise McKinney Park, we see the new LRT bridge construction, the dock of the River Queen, and the low-level bridge to the south. The area to the north is known as Grierson Hill, and there is a Chinese garden to the east. The park today has an interesting historical note. It was Edmonton's first garbage dump. We'll now head south of the park to one of Edmonton's more interesting attractions, the Funicular. When Edmonton's current Funicular opened in 2017, controversy surrounded its $24 million price tag. However, it does provide meaningful access to the river valley for many people who otherwise cannot climb its steep banks. It is not Edmonton's first funicular. The Edmonton Incline Railway ran from 1908 to 1911, only one block south on 101st Street. The low-level bridge was the first bridge across the North Saskatchewan River. The original bridge allowed trains, streetcars, horses, and pedestrian traffic to cross the bridge much faster than the ferry. A second section was added later in 1948. In 1915, the river flooded and water rose all the way to the base of the bridge. A train was parked on top of the bridge in the hopes that it would not wash away. The original bridge still stands today with 120 years of faithful service. We'll now head over to the Legislature Grounds. The legislature was completed in 1913, 8 years after Alberta became a province. Prior to this, the Legislative Assembly met at the McKay School on 104th Street. The legislature was built just up the hill from Fort Edmonton, and the two stood side by side for 2 years before the fort was turned down in 1915. The fort would later be rebuilt on the south side of the river at Fort Edmonton Park in 1969. The building and grounds have undergone significant renovations over the years. There is an underground tunnel and parkade system underneath the entire Legislature grounds. On the day of filming, the grounds were deserted and the wading pool eerily empty due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As we move down the hill, we see a large park built up around the old fort site. There is a bandshell, lawn bowling, and numerous statues and monuments of Alberta's history. Heading up the hill to the west, we arrive at the north end of the High Level Bridge. The bridge spans 777 meters at a height of 48 meters above the river below. Construction on the bridge began in 1910 and was completed in 1913 at a cost of $2 million. That equates to about $45 million today. The bridge has spectacular views of the river valley and is walkable on both sides. One-way traffic runs on the lower deck and there are train tracks above. However, only streetcar service remains today. The bridge does have a darker history. 2 men died while building the bridge, and over 25 people are known to have taken their own lives by jumping. Today, there are tall fences, hopeful messages, and emergency phones to help people in distress. The pipes you see here are part of the Great Divide Waterfall, which was added to the bridge in 1980. This waterfall would pump 50,000 liters per minute from 64 meters up to create a waterfall taller than Niagara Falls. The falls were used on holiday weekends and were truly a sight to behold. The falls were last used in 2009 and required extensive repairs before they could be put back in use. The Light the Bridge project was completed in 2014 and once again brings the spotlight back to the bridge on special occasions. Our last stop on the tour lies on the south side of the river just below the bridge. From here we can get a view of the structure. Although over 40% of the bridge has rusted away, recent engineering reports confirm that the bridge should be able to stay in service until at least 2045. Just to the east, we come to the John Walter Museum. John Walter and his wife ran a large shipbuilding and construction company from the 1870s until 1915, when the Great Flood caused huge losses for the company. The houses he built are still standing and give us a unique look into Edmonton life in the late 1800s. third house was at the time of its completion in 1901 one of the largest in Edmonton and was complete with running water, electricity, central heating, and a telephone. I hope that you enjoyed our brief tour. There's so much wonderful history to be discovered right in our own backyard. I hope this inspires you to take your own walking tour and learn about our region's rich history.